have got someone sitting in front of that house the first day it hits the hot sheets. We do the numbers. So if it gets by the investor, it gets by the broker, it gets by the agent, why would I think it's a good deal? See, because most people base it all on price. I don't base everything on price. I don't base it on return. I base mine on what it will cash flow. I'm going to show you in a minute. Investors think differently than real estate agents. Have you ever heard of the 75-25 rule? See, let's get into the numbers. If I'm going to pay all cash, I can't pay more than 75 cents on the dollar of what any property is worth. That sounds ridiculous? Do people pay more than 75 cents on the dollar? Sure, but let's take a look. I've got 1 to 2% of the after repaired value as my cost of buying. When I buy a property, do I have closing costs? Yes. Is that going to be about 1%? $1,000 on a $100,000 house? Yeah. 1.5% is what I figure in my market per month is my after repaired value for holding costs. I found it takes, and I've done a few houses, takes 4 months approximately from the day I buy it till the day I sell it. Now I hear people saying all the time, oh, 30 days before crap. Unless that house is mint condition. I never buy in mint condition. It's going to take me time because number one, is my crew, the minute I get done with my closing, are they in the starting blocks ready to run to my property? No, they're probably finishing up someone else, some other deal. So it's going to take a little time to get them there. If you have multiple trades, they can't all do it at once. You got to spread it out over a week or two. Then you put it on the market. You have open houses. The perfect buyer doesn't come in the first second to open the door. And then it's going to take them 3 or 4 weeks to get the loan approved, even if they say they're pre-approved. Anybody ever lived with that? I can't tell you how many times I've been told, we're going to have a closing Tuesday, 3 o'clock, be there. Then they call me on Wednesday. Forget it, we can't do it this week because the bank wants more documentation from the buyer. And then the next week comes, same thing. They postpone it because the bank always wants something else. So I figured 1.5% of my value. Does anybody figure in your holding costs? Well, you better. What are your holding costs? Your payment, taxes, insurance, water, sewer, electric, garbage. Those are costs you're going to have until you get that house rented or sold. So we got 1% and 6%. Now another 6% when I sell using one of you. So now 6 and 1 is how much? 13%. I want to make a fair profit. And if I only made a 10% profit, 13 and 10 is 23 off 100%. So as you can see, if I pay more, see, I'm not going to live in it. I'm not going to pay full price and then pay more money to fix it up. I'm an investor. I factor my costs into my buying decision. Doesn't make us bad. We're business people. Business is something many agents don't understand. They're great salesmen. Some of you people are fantastic salesmen, but do you really understand how the investor thinks? That's what this is about. Not everyone has a perfect house, wants a perfect house. Not everyone can pay cash. I can't pay cash. Number one, I don't own anything. Anybody in here use land trusts? I recommend if you own property as an investor, never own them. If you own nothing, your name doesn't appear in public record, and the trip and fall scumbags don't know where to trip and fall. I just highly recommend. As a matter of fact, I teach a 3-day boot camp. Any attorneys in the room? You need to take the class. I have attorneys every time. Because no attorney I know understands land trusts, and we're specific by statute. They don't understand, not that they're bad, it's just they don't specialize in it. But if you'd like, you need to know it. It's another part of the business. Not everyone can get institutional financing. I can't, I don't own anything. And that's perfect for what I want. Because I might get weak and actually go to a bank. And then I'd be so disappointed I might hurt myself because I was so happy. Not everyone has a wealthy family member or a friend. Only first-time home buyers or FHA candidates today can easily get loans. Investors can't. That's why we want seller financing, especially on our long-term properties, our income properties. It's not a bad thing. Now, the first question I get asked, well, how do we get paid? You'll get paid working with an investor. You have to get paid. Nobody's trying to go around you. Nobody's trying to beat you out of your tip money. Instead of profit checks, you're working for tips, right? How to maximize your profits. Forget about getting full asking price. I just showed you I can't pay full asking price. No, I'm not talking about the beautiful homes, 4-bedroom, 3-bath in the fabulous neighborhoods. I'm not dumb enough to buy those. I'm an investor. I have to have something that will cash flow. It's not just about price, and it's not. Price is less relevant the way most investors buy. It's about what the sellers want. You do realize if you don't give the seller what it is they want or need, you're not going to do the deal. They've got to like what you offer them more than what they're giving up, or the transaction will never happen. Been doing this for years. I sit at kitchen tables and negotiate deals. That's what I've always done. You've got to ask the seller why they're selling, what they need the money for. Most agents never go there. So if I'm going to work through you, I have to have the answers to those questions. If you haven't asked, how do I know if I can buy that property? See, I got to make a profit, or there's no reason for me to buy that property. Help get the offers accepted. Now, some of my friends, I run a weekly meeting. I don't know if any of you know that. I run a weekly meeting in St. Pete. Been doing it 16 and a half years. It's every Monday night, including holidays. Labor Day, Memorial Day, this year 4th of July, we'll have a meeting. But it's a networking meeting. So we have agents in that room, but they're good seasoned investors. They play both sides of the card. They make a lot of money. So, food for thought. Tell your clients that the investors may offer possibly be better for them than an all-cash offer. Encourage them to consult their CPA. How could anything be better than cash? You realize if they don't live in the house, they're going to get killed in taxes. You do realize that. So they're going to give up a major portion. So let me ask you, I send letters. What I'm looking for is older people. You bought your first house when you were 30. You paid for it for 30 years. How old are you? 60. Okay? If you have spent your summers painting that house, you fixed the house every weekend, you've dealt with tenants and toilets for 30 years, is there the slightest chance you held that property as some type of a retirement program? Absolutely. I sit at kitchen tables. I ask that question. I have for years. Many of them want an income stream. So if they don't live in the house, they've got it as any accountants in the room. They have to recapture all the depreciation they've taken in the year of the sale. They got to pay the capital gains in the year of the sale. Then what are they going to do with what little money is left? Put it in the bank at 0.25% interest? Is that a good retirement program? I can pay them every month for 30 years. I can give them much better interest. I can make it work for them like an annuity. And they only pay taxes on the 12 payments I pay them every year. Thank you. So, you got to understand who you're dealing with. If they live in the house, you realize See, if the person lives in the house, they don't have any taxing consequences. As you all know, IRS Section 121 says if you live in a house any 2 of the last 5 years, a single person can take up to $250,000 of their gain tax-free. A couple can take up to $500,000 tax-free. They have no taxing issues. If they just live next door, they got taxing consequences. So many of them don't want to give up a chunk. That's why investors that try and do seller financing may have an offer that's better than a cash offer for them. Or if they're in a high tax bracket. See, I can offer somebody in a high tax bracket less than what their basis is. They've owned it for years. They've collected rent for years. Let me give you an example. A high income person buys a property 10 years ago, paid $150,000 for it. Now see, here again, I'm going to negotiate a deal. They have it on the market. Can I offer them $110,000 for that house? They've made profit for 10 years. If I offered them 110, what did I just do? I just give them a $40,000 loss to write off against other income that might be beneficial to them. If I make payments that contain no interest, they don't pay any taxes on that up to their base. I just offered less than their base. Because they were in a high tax bracket, I just give them a deal that was better than if they got all cash, that they're going to lose a bunch of it to taxes. Just think. Get the closing done. Get another check. Encourage the sellers to talk to their CPA to get the best tax strategies to get the most money to put in their pocket. I don't think most agents do that, and I think they should. Be open-minded. You know, I heard him talking about the foreclosures. Who was the speaker on that? Have you read BABA8 versus Massachusetts Supreme Court? Read it. BABA8, Massachusetts Supreme Court. It's about a guy that bought a property that was in foreclosure, fixed it all up, put millions of dollars in it, and then they told him he didn't own it. And then he took it to the Supreme Court and they said, you don't own it. Because the foreclosing party didn't have the right, and the title insurance company said, we're not paying. Check it out. Good reading. It's not the real estate business, it's the people business. Forget about the real estate professional with a colored jacket. Who in here wears the colored jacket? Come on, pass up. I know you do. Forget the ego. Be a problem solver. Make things happen. Put a buyer and a seller together. It's about your future. It's about your income to feed your family. Forget your traditions. Be creative. Help the sellers get the deal closed so you have more closings. Now, I know all of you guys are multimillionaires and you don't need more closings, right? But a closing is a closing. And if we're doing nothing wrong, nothing illegal, why not take advantage of that? Why not put the investors in your pocket once you understand how they think? So when a deal comes along that they might be interested in, you can swing it their way. Because it's not going to be a retail deal for you. A well-trained real estate investor can make money buying real estate with no money in some cases. I bought deals, no money down. Actually, I bought a property, no payments for a year. Can I do that? Of course I can. Because I asked the seller if they would take that. But I gave them what they needed. Properties of less than good credit, I've done that for years. Little experience. Minimal paperwork. Not, what's the FAR bar? Is that 11 pages of size 2 font nobody ever reads? That protects you guys? Yeah. No repair crews, and you can do it part-time. But those are potential people, if you put them in your pocket, once you know them, you know their reputation, you can find deals for them when they come across your desk. It's a lot more closings. Be a matchmaker. Bring willing buyers and motivated sellers. Be open-minded to creative offers. Don't be embarrassed to make low-ball offers. What's the worst they can say? One thing I learned as an investor, if I look at a house, I don't care what it looks like. I make an offer. I may only offer $5 for the house, but I will make an offer. I may not get that offer accepted, but it may start a conversation that leads to a purchase. So you got to think about, if you're going to be a negotiator, see, most people working through you guys never get a chance to negotiate with the people. I need to talk to the people. And if I find that an agent has a property listed and they won't let me talk to the seller, I'll go around you to talk to them. I will not go around them to beat you out of your commission. But I need to ask the pertinent questions. So be open-minded to ask those questions when you do a listing or when you have a buyer. Help the investor get any information they need to make the deal that's good for all three parties, you, the buyer, and the seller. Seasoned investors understand there's only 4 different types of single-family houses. See, the investor mind knows there's only 4 different types of houses, single-family. Only 4. The first type, foreclosure properties, REO, bank-owned, short sale properties. Are there any of those? Couple, okay. Houses they don't want. I made a boatload of money on houses you would have stepped on the gas to get past. I bought houses with yards full of junk, made a lot of money doing those deals. Why? I never took ownership, but I made money because I would assign my contract to someone else that wanted it. Doesn't have to be a beautiful house. I'm here to make money. I'm not out there to have bragging rights about I only do beautiful houses. Beautiful houses are part of the program, but it's not the only. Houses that can be fixed and sold retail. That's what you guys deal in mostly, I'm sure. And houses that can be kept long-term as income properties. But the income properties have to pay for themselves. Do you know anybody that would want this house? Larry did. Larry never owned it. He flipped it, only made $22,000. Because I had someone on a buyer's list that wanted that property. That was on 5 contiguous lots. And I sold it to a veterinarian who wanted to fence it off to put his emus and giraffes and dinosaurs and whatever he had. And he moved into the house. The inside was not bad. How about this one? 7 one-ton flatbed truckloads of junk and garbage in that house and yard. That one, I wholesaled my contract for $10,000 to an investor from Bartow. Was that okay? Now you notice I've never taken ownership. How about a boarded up house in a war zone? Who in the world would I sell that to? Section 8 landlords. They're comfortable in those areas. They know those areas. They don't mind doing business in those areas. If you can tie one up at a reasonable price, assign the contract to them. They're the perfect candidate. Know anybody that would want that? That one I only made $23,000 on. Never touched it. The beautiful thing about this one, the guy that I flipped the contract to said, boy, Larry, that was a great deal. And I said, well, I know it was. He said, did you look inside? And I said, well, no, because the old man that was selling it to me, that lived in North Georgia, wouldn't give me a key, and he had towels on the inside of the windows. Oh. He said, so after we had our closing, I broke a window. He said, would you believe that house was completely remodeled on the inside? Knew everything, new cabinets, knew everything. Just needed carpet. So I'm kicking myself. I could have got more out of it, but I didn't break the window. So, see, there's another. How about this one? This could be what an investor's looking for if you come across one. Maybe you want these. I don't know. An investor looks at houses as a separate business that must pay for itself and hopefully give the investor a monthly income stream. Quick money to pay our bills every month. We all need cash flow. Margaret Thatcher said a house without cash flow ceases to exist. We have to have cash flow. That's what you guys are in business for, because it's about feeding your family. I want it as a long-term retirement program. See, everything I know about or control, It's not about me. I'm almost 70 years old. It's about my 6 kids, my wife first, my 6 kids, my 16 grandkids, and my 2 great-grandkids. I may not live long enough to enjoy it all, but I'm setting it up for future generations. But that's the mind of an investor. It's not about the car, the boat, the house. I've had all those. It's about future generations. That's my why. Financial freedom and independence. The investor won't be living in the house. The investor won't have any emotional attachment to the property. They're not going to be in love with it. They're going to be in love with the numbers. It's strictly business based on numbers. We make our buying decision based on the numbers of the deal, location, use of the property. What's the property going to be used for? The affordability. How easy will it be for them to make a profit? Repairs the investor is willing to deal with. How much it will cost to rehab the property. See, when I set up here, the affordability of the property, what I'm talking about is, can I make a cash flow? Now, I'm speaking as an investor, not as a real estate agent. But I know there are investors out there that can make you a lot of money if you're willing to work with them. But at least now you're getting an idea how they think. But I'm talking about the seasoned investor. I'm not talking about the people that throw dollars in deals, have no idea if they're making money or not, because price is everything to them. Price isn't everything if you're going to keep it long term. And their potential profits. Here's the problem you're not thinking about. Banks are rarely lending to investors today. None of my friends can go to a bank. Why? They don't have W-2 income. We're self-employed. So banks just don't greet us at the door and welcome us in. Many investors own their properties in land trusts, so they have nothing in their name. Nothing shows in their name. They're not cash rich. A smart investor has got his money out or her money out working, not laying in a bank. Why would you put your money in a bank at a 0.25% interest when you can put it out and make huge profits with it? Most investors don't have a rich friend or relative to fund their deals. Hard money loans doesn't work for every deal. How many people in here do hard money loans? Who make hard money loans? That only works for quick turn stuff. But I see too many people that have come through my meeting that buy in less than desirable areas. They gold plate the house because they don't know what they're doing. They get hard money loans because they have no money to buy it. The term of the hard money loan expires and they have to refinance, and they can't because banks won't refinance in those areas. So you have to make people aware of that. Only a fool would use their line of credit on their personal home to buy investment properties. Now, I get a lot of feedback on that one. But if I'm going to buy an investment property, why would I put my home at risk if the rental property didn't work out and I can't pay back that line of credit? What are they going to do to my home? They're going to foreclose on it. I will never take that risk. I don't think that's a smart, prudent way. Now, and I know people do it all the time. That's why they tell me, oh, I can get a loan. Yeah, they can because they use the line of credit on their personal home. Most real investors, not beginners, had to do business without your services. Many know how to do their own marketing. They deal with sellers directly. They know how to make money without you. Why not be a part of their business by showing them properties that may work for them? We can make money without ownership, with a master lease. See, I'm into cash flow. I can lease a property from her for $800 with a right to sublease. I can sublease to her for $1,200. Am I making cash flow?
Yes.
Yeah. Will I ever own that house?
No.
Do I care if I ever own that house? It's a great way that if you have people that can't qualify for a loan, you might get them to make money just by that. A master lease without an option. How about just a simple option? I'll take an option on your property I have the right to buy it anytime in the next 5 years. And I find out he wants to build an office building in that area. I can sell that option to him, and he has the right to close on my deal. So I made money with just a piece of paper. I didn't have to do a thing. That's what people do all the time in my world. A lease option. Lease option has issues now. The lease option is not the same as it was before Dodd-Frank. Dodd-Frank now says none of the option money nor any of the rent can apply to the purchase price. Well, maybe. Can I charge, I'm going to sell you a house for $100,000. Can I sell you the house for $40,000 because I'm a bad judge of property values? And I'll sell you the option for $60,000? I can take time payments on the option. I can't on the property. So you just have to be able to think outside the box. I'm not an attorney. I play one on TV, but I'm not. For any investor who knows what they're doing, if there's no profit in the deal, there's never going to be a closing, you're not going to get a check. Only send and show investor deals that will be profitable for them. Ask them. If you guys want it, come to my meeting. There's usually 75 to 100 people. Who's been there? You been there? We've got some of the greatest minds in the real estate investing business in the country in that room. A guy by the name of Peter Fortunato. Nobody can match him structuring deals in this country. I don't care who they are. He's creative. He don't pay cash. If he did, I know we'd find him hanging in his garage with a note to his family saying, "I'm sorry I embarrassed you for paying cash." He does creative structures. He does a lot of deals. Do a little homework before calling the investors. Give them what they need. Build their loyalty by giving results. When I find a deal that is listed that I may want, I have friends that come to my meeting that are agents, brokers. I'll make my offer to them, but they'll present my offer without embarrassment. Why? They understand the business. And so they're happy to present the offer. They're not embarrassed. It's about putting a buyer and a seller together. That's the key. More work you're willing to do will be in direct proportion to your income. Cash is not always the best solution for every seller. Nobody wants all cash. Everybody who went to government schools think they want cash. Cash is paper with green ink on it. People don't want the cash. They want what the cash can do for them. So I can give them things they want in lieu of cash when I do my deals that I can acquire for far less than what it would cost them to buy. How about I pay off your hospital bill? You got a $30,000 hospital bill. Can I use that as the down payment and part of the equity if I agree to pay that $30,000? But then I can make a deal with the hospital to pay them $100 a month until paid. And I get a big discount. You see how that worked? That's how investors think. Some sellers don't want to pay all of the taxes they owe in the year of the sale. We talked about that. Some may want a retirement monthly income. Some sellers may be in a high tax bracket and don't want to lose more of their profits than necessary to taxes. Now you do, who in here has a lot of people that are wholesalers? That's the latest hot button. Hot button. Be sure to tell your clients you do realize you're paying the highest taxes possible on every deal you do. You're losing a major portion of your profit to taxes because it's quick turn money. Now, if that don't matter to them because they need the money to survive, that's one thing. But when they get tired of losing a third of their profit to taxes, and they realize that, see, rental income is the least taxed income of any type. We automatically save 15.3% because there's no FICA. But we also get appreciation, depreciation, loan pay down. See, I like the income properties. I make reference. Have you ever planted a garden? Did you ever put a seed in the ground this morning, eat an ear of sweet corn tonight? No. So what is the missing part of that formula?